Congresswoman Omar,
anybody safe?
can I get your reaction to the shooting that happened in D.C. last night?
I'm going to go for now.
I'm going to go for now, Mark. Couldn't even say condolences for the family.
Oh, God.
No. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Tough thing to do. Would you like to say something?
So this is actually my worst nightmare, to go viral, become a meme, whatever. I literally just landed back home and I got a text from my friend that was like, "You're going viral," and I was like, God, no. To cover some points, not a cop, not a Republican. I was there. I received that medal because my dad died line of duty along with 2 other officers alongside him last year in Palm Beach, it was a huge news story. That's also why Trump was so involved, because it was in Palm Beach. And yeah, free Palestine.
As you go forward, with what you have seen, can you give us any sense, because you said you looked the shooter in the eyes, can you give us any sense of what you saw in him as he was sort of getting help and people were tending to him as if he too was a victim of seeing this?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So glad you guys are here with me today. We are back again together to discuss these important topics. So stick around because you're not going to want to miss anything that I have to share with you. I'm going to try to make this as quick and concise as possible for you so that you have the latest breaking news and most accurate and most importantly, the truth with this information. We're diving into some of the biggest stories making waves right now, from the recent shooting in Washington, D.C. to the viral Free Palestine posts lighting up social media and TikTok. And of course, none other than soon to be removed from Congress, fingers crossed, hopefully, potentially deported, or maybe court-martialed. Nah, I'm just playing. Maybe federally prosecuted. Ilhan Omar. Yeah. And her, let's just say, very quiet response to reporters and their questions post DC shooting and Free Palestine chants. Her silence is deafening and speaks volumes. We've got a lot to unpack, so let's go ahead and dive right in, folks. Oh yeah, and real quick, you might notice a phone number on the screen. I hope it's not too distracting. I've tried to reduce the size a little bit, but still make it visible for folks with not the greatest of eyesight to be able to see and read the numbers clearly. But I hope it's not too distracting. And it's for our amazing sponsor, Chapter. Chapter offers free Medicare consultations, and Chapter is a wonderful partner who can help you save money on your Medicare for free. Seriously, 100% free, and they'll never call you without your permission. If you want to cut costs and save money, give Chapter a call at 270-467-2426 and ask them just this one simple question. How can I save money every month? That's it. 270-467-2426. And if it's easier for you, their information is in the description and in the pinned comment. You can check them out at www.askchapter.org/Kevin, Kevin, or simply dial 270-467-2426. Now let's go ahead and dive right into the latest news.
Yeah, well, to be clear, I heard about that part because we were in the secure room when he initially walked in. I just saw him screaming and then being handcuffed. But what I saw in his eyes, I mean, I went to Columbia for grad school, and I saw the same thing in his eyes as I saw in the eyes of all the protesters at Columbia. Nothing different between him and them.
But they did not create this horrific shooting. They did not, they didn't shoot.
They gave permission. They gave the permission. And they've
wait,
called
but-
for this. They have called for intifada revolution, which is the same thing he yelled last night.
Do you worry that there will be a conflation, though, of the two, those people who are speaking their mind, who really care about what is happening in Gaza, and those people who are like this person who did this horrific shooting, who intend to do harm?
A conflation. I mean, they are calling for intifada. At Columbia University, they call for intifada constantly. They're not quietly, they're loud. They're loud. You can hear it. They make recordings of themselves. So what's the difference?
Are you afraid?
Yes.
What
We're
will you
all
do
afraid.
about that?
Everyone should be afraid.
What are you doing to try to make yourself feel safer?
Why can't you just go on and live your life? I'm a New Yorker. I remember 9/11. You can't let them make you be afraid. You have to go on. You have to live your life, and hopefully your government does things to protect you. Last night, our government failed us.
Jonathan Epstein, I know that they are going forward with this. There is expected to be charges in this case. We will see what happens, but I know you'll be watching, and we'll talk to you again as this goes forward. Thank you so much.
Well, I mean,
I think that's a very interesting perspective. Our government failed us. What do you think? What do you think he meant by that? Jonathan Epstein. Jonathan Epstein, who witnessed deadly shooting near Capitol Jewish Museum. Witness, it says here, suspect pretended to be a witness and waited for police as two Israeli embassy staffers fatally shot near Jewish Museum in D.C. Now, I have my thoughts and opinions on what he may mean by our government failed us, but let's just simplify this a little bit. Does he mean our government failed us now? Or does he mean our government failed us in the past? Because if you really want to get down to like the nuts and bolts of it all, why is this even happening? Why are these protests occurring? Why are these people doing the things that they're doing, or better yet, have been allowed to for so long? Because our government that we've only had in place for roughly 100+ days, in comparison to our government that we previously had for 4 years, I think there should be some clarification as far as what you mean by our government failed. Our government let us down, without saying the T word, of course. And just food for thought. Can you imagine where we would be? Granted, we dodged a bullet. Some would say we even dodged a missile. And this past November, with the hat trick that the Democrats tried to pull with Kamala Harris. Granted, now they're hedging their bet on either AOC or Jasmine Crockett. But can you imagine the level in which our government would fail us if that were to ever come to fruition? If the Democrats were to ever get their way?
Today, I, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, am announcing my candidacy for President of the United States of America. A lot of people say that I'm not patriotic, but my IQ is 76.
what we seem to know at this stage is he has no criminal record. He has been part of the pro-Palestinian protests in the Chicago area, but apparently, according to the records, not arrested in those protests. And they'll be looking to figure out his social media, his computers. They're going to want to see, was he inspired by a particular website to go and allegedly commit this act of violence? Was he in touch with other people? Did anybody else know? One of the things they're looking at, according to law enforcement sources, is a manifesto that they believe is likely written by him, which explains that he's been a part of the protest movement, was becoming frustrated as the body counts in Gaza continued to rise, and the protests seemed to not be having any market effect, and that this was, he said, in a funny way, a crazy thing to do, but it was the right thing to do.
Who is the terrorist? Who is the terrorist? The United States of America. We feel the Palestinian blood. we are joined today by leaders of the Arab American community, which has deep and proud roots here in Michigan. And I want to say, this year has been difficult, given the scale of death and destruction in Gaza, and given the civilian casualties and displacement in Lebanon. It is devastating. And as president, I will do everything in my power to end the war in Gaza. To bring home the hostages, end the suffering in Gaza, ensure Israel is secure, and ensure the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, freedom, security, and self-determination. And we continue to work on a diplomatic resolution across the Israel-Lebanon border to protect civilians and provide lasting stability.
This is disgusting. Watch how Kamala Harris reacted to pro-Palestinian protesters at her rally.
You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
Look at the expression on her face. Not a single drop of empathy. And this rally was held in Michigan, the state with the largest Arab population in the United States. And she could even pretend to care about Palestine. This is a face that says, I'm annoyed that you guys exist because you make my job harder. There's a lot of Americans who don't want to vote for a genocide supporter. A lot of Democrats who won't vote for Kamala unless she puts an arms embargo on Israel, which is what those protesters were there for, to ask her to put an arms embargo on Israel. You can tell that she hates that she has to pretend that she cares about Palestinians. Not even 2 days ago, security footage from inside one of Israel's detainment camps for Palestinians was leaked online, showing a group of IDF soldiers gang one of the Palestinians they had detained in there. It's fucking disgusting. What is this reaction? You know, Kamala was trying to have her own little girl boss moment here like she loves having, but all this moment did was show that she's a stone cold Zio. Said it before, I'm saying it again. No ceasefire, no arms embargo on Israel, no vote for Kamala. Help people see this video, repost, copy the link. If you want to help Palestinians, you can go to my bio. There's tons of links in there for you to help. Thank you and free Palestine.
We stand with Palestine! And we stand in solidarity with Palestine! We have the historic responsibility!
We have the historic responsibility
of defeating Israel colonialism! And U.S. imperialism!
I went to Wikipedia this morning to look at the map of where the resistance is, and as of at least this morning, they've liberated an area that's actually larger than the Gaza Strip.
And opened fire, striking both of our decedents. After the shooting, the suspect then entered the museum and was detained by event security. Once in handcuffs, the suspect identified where he discarded the weapon, and that weapon has been recovered, and he implied that he committed the offense. The suspect chanted, "Free, free Palestine," while in custody. The suspect has been tentatively identified as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago, Illinois. We believe the shooting was committed by a single suspect who is now in custody. Prior to the shooting, the suspect was observed pacing back and forth outside of the museum. He approached a group of 4 people, produced a handgun, and opened fire, striking both of our decedents. After the shooting, the suspect then entered the museum and was detained by event security. Once in handcuffs, the suspect identified where he discarded the weapon, and that weapon has been recovered, and he implied that he committed the offense.
The permission structure for violence. You've got polls about political violence. Democrats don't think it's a good idea. Only Republicans, only people inclined to consume conservative media are now, I think, upward of 50% say that if necessary, violence is okay. You've only got the conduct on one of the two sides.
Hard time, and it's a very, very difficult time. There's no perfect candidate right now, but we know what Trump will do. He'll sell out the Arabs. and there's 150 Palestinians and Jews yesterday out of Arizona who signed a sign-on letter basically asking American, Arab, and Muslim voters to vote for Kamala because our chances of changing her positions inside the White House are better than they'll ever be with Trump.
Can you argue that Harris is an anti-war campaigner and would be an anti-war president?
All I know is that she is the only one who has created a different kind of language around the Palestinian suffering, different than Biden. And I'm hoping that after this election is over, she has great people in the State Department who are very open-minded and who want to see the end of this atrocity.
I say that the gifts are to the American people. There's trillions of dollars of investments that are going to create jobs in the U.S., whether it's the UAE building this gigantic aluminum plant in Oklahoma, whether it's these data centers that Qatar is going to do, is $600 billion on its way to $1 trillion from Saudi, that it all accrues to the American people. I say
Insider Advantage has Trump's approval here from about a week ago, up 11 points, 55%. And this post here says that Trump's art of the deal just transformed Middle East politics. His $2 trillion deal spree revealed 3 commercial strategies the media missed completely. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say they really missed it. You know how they like to do. You know the games they like to play, be that as it may. Eric Doherty shares how breaking Trump surges to an 11+ approval rating, 55% to 44% after triumphant trip to the Middle East, where he declared victory over the neocon interventionalists and brought home over $2 trillion in deals, according to an Insider Advantage poll. Meanwhile, Chris Murphy, seen here, crying about it from Connecticut, says the billions Trump is pocketing personally from his Middle East side deals is so offensive because he gets a free luxury plane while he is kicking Americans off their health care and raising the prices for everything. One set of rules for him, one set of rules for everyone else.
So why did he choose these 3 countries to go to for his first major foreign trip? It's not because these are our most important allies or the most important countries in the world. It's because these are the 3 countries willing to pay him off. Every single one of these countries is giving Trump money. The plane from Qatar, an investment in his cryptocurrency scam from the UAE, and they are asking for national security concessions in return. This is the definition of corruption. Foreign governments putting money in the president's pocket, and then the United States giving them national security concessions that hurt our own security. By the way, the plane is not a gift to the American people, as the secretary said. It is going directly to Donald Trump. That library will take a decade to build, and so once he leaves the White House, until the library is built, he gets to use that plane to fly around all of his billionaire friends while his policies result in millions of Americans losing their health care and having to pay higher costs. That is the definition of corruption.
I don't think President Trump would be able to utilize Air Force One after his term is completed. But don't quote me on that. However, I feel like Democrats like Chris Murphy here are very in tune and completely aware of the definition of corruption. I mean, how could they not be? You see what I'm saying? Oh, man, Chris Murphy, you've made my day. Well, almost. I've got one more clip that I want to share with you, and that's of this one here, Marco Rubio. Thank you guys for watching. I look forward to reading all your comments. Please hit the like button because it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.
Was a guest in the United States on a student visa. No one's entitled to a student visa.
So you revoked her student visa based on an op-ed, which trumps the Supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution.
Someone's coming up here to stir up problems on our campus. We're going to revoke their visa.
She didn't do any of that. She wrote an op-ed.
Well,
she wrote an op-ed, and I'm talking to you about her particular case.
Claims and your claims. Those are not the facts.
You reclaiming my time. You revoked her student visa because
proudly.
she wrote an op-ed.
And
Would you revoke?
We're going to do more. We will revoke the visa of anyone who's in this country as a guest.
Are you going to revoke the visa of somebody who made that?
I mean, the case. I'll look at it. I'm looking to get crazy people
actually,
out of our
it's not just about revoking.
You
actually, Secretary Rubio, excuse me, reclaiming my time. If these are legitimate law enforcement agents carrying out proper arrest, why are they hiding their identities?
Because then radical crazies will try to hurt them.